Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a U.S. Senate election prediction. Let's get started with the first state. The first state I will call will be the state of Montana in the likely red column. Next up, we're going to head over to the south and call South Carolina for the Republicans. Generally, these two states are in the safe margin, but because 2026 is shaping up to be a really good year for Democrats. I think the states will narrow up. At the end of the day, I still think they'll be in the Republican Party's column, but that's going to be the call on those two. Next up, we're going to give Florida the likely red rating, and I think that might just be the end of the likely red. Next up, we're going to go likely blue. We're going to go with the state of Minnesota in the likely blue column, as well as New Hampshire in the likely blue column. That brings Democrats to 45, to Republicans 46. Republicans need to win 4 more seats of the 9 that have yet to be called. Democrats need to win 6. So we'll start out now going through the lean states. We'll start with the lean red. I think there are going to be a few of these starting out in Nebraska. Going to put that into the lean red column. Generally, this state would be in the safe red, but because Dan Osborne is running, he has a lot of bipartisan support, and he does very well with independents, and I think that that will lead it to being a closer race than Nebraska is, but it will still be a Republican victory when it's over. Next up, Iowa into the Republican Party's column. This state used to be a swing state and even Democratic leaning, but has since drifted further to the right, so I think that state will be called for the Republicans. Next up, that we're going to head over to the lean blue states. There's going to be a few of these. We will get started with the state of Georgia. Georgia, I'm going to be putting that into the lean blue column. And Georgia currently has a Democratic senator, well, 2, and Jon Ossoff is one of them. He's up for re-election. He's a strong fundraising game, and I think that he will do quite well in his re-election bid. And so that's going to be the state of Georgia. Next up, we're going to head over to North Carolina. Going to call that for the Democrat. Democrats have a great candidate in Roy Cooper, and I think that he will do quite well, enough to win the state by a lean blue margin. And then next up, we're going to head over to the rest of the swing states. The only one more will be in the likely blue, and that's going to be the state of Maine. I'm going to put that into the lean blue column. This state is currently held by a Republican. This seat, Susan Collins, she's done well in the past. She's done well in her election, in her prior elections. She's fended off a variety of high-name notable Democrats, and it's possible it happens again. Just because of the partisan nature of the state, that the state will most likely go blue and elect a Democratic candidate to the Senate. There are really fewer and fewer states that have senators from opposing political parties, and I think that that will play out and help Democrats because Maine generally has a lean blue tilt, and that's going to be the call there in Maine. The rest of these are going to be in the tilt column. We're going to start out with the state of Michigan, which I feel the most confident of the tilt states in calling. That's going to be a victory for the Democrats. And then the next state, actually, I'm probably more confident in Texas going red than Michigan going blue, but that is going to be the call there in Texas. This race had a bit of an interesting turn with Ken Paxton winning the Republican Party's primary last night. And so I think that Democrats were somewhat hoping for that. I think there were some Democrats who voted in the Republican Party's primary for John Cornyn in hopes of getting more of a moderate candidate. But now that Ken Paxton is the nominee, it'll be interesting to see if his extremist kind of further to the right messaging will play well in a general election. I think that James Tallarico he's got moderate appeal. He did quite well in the primary in the metropolitan suburbs, and I think that he will do well. I think this race could go blue, but I think the most likely situation right now is remaining in the Republican Party's column. That's going to bring Republicans to 49. Next up, we're going to call the state of Maine, oh, not Maine, Alaska. We're going to call the state of Alaska for the Democrat by a tilt margin. This state I do think will be close. Currently, the betting market odds favor Mary Peltola in this race, and that's going to bring it to a 50-49 Senate. And then finally, the state that will decide it will be the state of Ohio. The state I've gone back and forth on, but I think the most likely outcome at the moment is a Republican victory there, and that does result in a Republican-held Senate in a 50-50 split tie. The vice president is the tie-breaking vote, and as you can see there, the VP box is red because Vice President Vance is a Republican, and this is somewhat highlighted in the prediction markets for which party will control the Senate. Republicans have the edge, but it is certainly a close election to watch. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.